Hi, this is David Hay, the Haymaker, on March 7th, 2024, and lots of stuff happening out of Washington, D.C. We've got Jay Powell in front of Congress, and if you haven't been watching that, it's actually been pretty comical at times. Nothing really big, I don't think, coming out of that. But tonight, and something that's more relevant to the theme of this 2-minute drill that might be a 3 or 4-minute drill, is the State of the Union speech by President Biden. Apparently, he's going to announce an increase in the buyback tax on companies from 1% to 4%. And that would be a big deal with obviously negative market implications if that actually becomes law. I'm not sure if he can do it with executive action as opposed to having to go through Congress. But it just goes to show that politics can influence the financial markets. But the real big thing, of course, is the election coming up in November. And it's a very unique one in that we have two very unpopular candidates, though they've got their loyal bases, but their unfavorability rating is 57% in the case of Donald Trump, 59% in the case of Joe Biden. We got 2/3 of Americans that supposedly want to have another option besides a rerun of the last election. And the reality is, whichever one wins, assuming that one of them does, they're going to be a lame duck because obviously neither can run again, having served a term previously. So it's it's a mess, frankly, I think. And I do believe that there is an option. As many of you know, that I'm a supporter of no labels. I'm also a delegate from the state of Washington. And I can tell you that they are very enthusiastic about their chances, which maybe seems weird given it's being assumed by the popular press that it's going to be a Trump-Biden rematch. And Nikki Haley is obviously out of the race. No Labels has said publicly that they're interested in her. Apparently she's not interested. We'll see whether that lasts. One of the problems that she's got is that there's sore loser laws. And if you don't know what those are in certain states, if a candidate has run and lost, they can't run again in those same states that have that law because of that sore loser provision. And it's not certain, and it's not necessarily a deal killer, but it is definitely a negative. And particularly since she stayed in through Super Tuesday, that might have been a mistake, but I'm no political expert, so I'm not going to say that. But I do think there is a historic opening for a third-party candidate. Obviously, Robert Kennedy Jr. is going to go forward. He took out a very expensive Super Bowl ad, so that was interesting. But I think we're going to see at least a 3-horse race, if not a 4-horse race. And I wouldn't assume that it's going to be Trump and Biden as the next president. But we'll see. It's going to be, I think, the most interesting presidential election that we've ever had. And I do think there are market implications. Frankly, if it is a unifying candidate that wins in November, I think that would be supportive for the financial markets, which are already on fire, but who knows what happens in between. And we could certainly have a nasty correction somewhere along the way. And the way things are trending right now, which is very, very frothy conditions, I think that's a distinct possibility. Just as a little footnote, I wouldn't be surprised if the superstar in the market right now, NVIDIA has some trouble when they report a quarter, which they'll inevitably do, that is not red hot, even if it's still very strong. The history of that stock is when it's had a huge run up, and this isn't the first time. And then even when they've reported really healthy revenue growth, the stock has gotten hit hard. I think there's a lot of double, triple, even quadruple ordering going on right now with NVIDIA's customer book. So if that's right, then we could have some problems coming even on that very popular, unbelievably popular name right now. It reminds me of Qualcomm back in the late 90s, which was a fun stock for me in those days. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for your time and attention.